How are we feeling tonight, people? How are we feeling? I hope we're having a good night. It is approximately 6:37 Central Standard Time. Where I'm sitting at right now. I don't know what time it is whenever you guys are watching or if you're even watching this live, but I hope you can feel the energy in my voice. I feel the energy right now. Right? Having a good day, smooth day today at work. Come back, get ready to stream, listening to some music, putting me in a good mood. I'm in a good mood, folks. I hope you are too. It's the beginning of the year, somewhat beginning of the year, halfway through January, the first month. I hope y'all are keeping up with those resolutions. Y'all better be keeping up with those resolutions out there. I saw a lot of people, not a lot of people at the gym these days. I saw checking on Instagram and stuff. Not a lot of gym pics, but hey, I know there's resolutions everywhere. I hope you're sticking to them. Getting this money. Figuring the things you need to. Figuring those things out. Make sure you're keeping yourself, holding yourself accountable, getting to a strong start to this year. I know I'm trying. Holding myself accountable, that is. But hey, like I said, smooth day today at work. Getting stuff done, right? I'm feeling the energy. I hope y'all feel the energy as we get this live stream going. Where is my big, beautiful face? Here it is. Thank you so much, people. It's De La Spurs Live. I'm coming to you again. It's January 14th. All right. Coming to you live again. I hope you guys are having a good night. I know I am. I'm having a good night. Like I said, listening to some music, smooth day at work, right? Trying to keep this start off to the year strong. I hope it's strong for you guys as well. Going to be getting into a lot today. We're going to be getting into first Conor Gallagher officially signing for the club, officially signing for Tottenham. We're going to be getting into that. His interview, we're looking at that. We're going to review his signing. Now that we got the day, right? Because this crowd, this fan base is used to overreacting, right? So let's exaggerate how much a day is going to change everybody's opinion, which I've been seeing. I've been seeing some 180s out there for some people that were saying, oh, he's not the man. He's not the profile. People going back now and saying, wait a minute, this guy's a good player here. So we're going to be discussing that, what we think of his signing as well. Also, we'll be discussing Fabio Paratici leaving Tottenham, confirmed. He gives us his going words. We're going to be looking at that too, looking at that story as well. What does this mean for our recruitment? What are we going to go from here in the middle of the January window? I think he's staying, actually. He should be staying to the end of the window. But what is this going to mean going into the summer? And even still, if he's leaving in the January window, I don't think he's going to have that much influence or that much say, right? I mean, hopefully he's a professional. He doesn't phone it in, right, towards the end. But we'll be discussing all of that and more in tonight's stream. Let's go ahead and do the beginning logistics. All right. Let's go ahead. Take this moment. Like the live stream. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Posting. You know the deal. I'll post whenever I go live. I'll post it today. I'll even have the topics of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So you can, if you see something that piques your interest, you know to go ahead and tune in. Of course, I may go off script a little bit as well, so don't expect everything to just be strictly to that script. But you know what I'm saying. Go ahead and subscribe. Follow me on X as well. I also post on X. I'll also post the live stream links before the live stream. So go ahead follow me on YouTube, follow me on X, do that so you can go ahead and tune into the live stream when I go live. I'll be giving the links out, posting the links, sharing the links from those channels, from that social media. So if you want to get in more on De La Spurs, you want to know when I'm going live, you want to see more of my content, see more of my thoughts, go ahead and do that for me, please. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, folks. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. Big topic for tonight. Welcome Conor Gallagher officially signing, officially put pen to paper for Tottenham. He is a Tottenham player. Listen, like I said before, I think this is a solid player, solid buy. I've been hearing a lot about this whole what profile he fits and what's missing in the team and what he doesn't bring and what impact he may make. Now, don't get me wrong, I do have my doubts, I do have my reservations because we've seen how this ownership runs, we've seen how this recruitment team runs. All right. Don't get me wrong, Conor Gallagher is a good player, a good name on paper to have on your team. I think any solid team would take a Conor Gallagher. Don't get me wrong. But for what we need right now and for what we need going forward, I think he's good. But I think if fans are expecting an impact, an instant change or reaction to how we play, how we pass, how we move, scoring goals, winning games, losing less games, how Frank is going to have his outlook on the team, I think you're going to have some pretty high expectations that are going that you're going to be disappointed. Essentially, you're going to be disappointed because he's not going to do any of that, really, to be quite honest. And that's that's to no slight of him and what he can bring to a team, but just for what we have and what we're needing right now. I mean, I think for fans that share that opinion that, it's just a profile player that we need, I think there is some truth in that. I think there is, when it comes to technical players in the squad, I feel like we're very lacking in that. It feels like the profile of player that we're that we have are kind of these strong, running, very industrious, marauding players that just, they're not necessarily the most technical or the most skillful, but they can dig into a game. They'll run. They'll be passionate out there on the field. They'll do all this stuff, and it's, we're seeing just how lacking the squad is in the technical areas, especially when we play teams that necessarily don't have the best players in the world, but they have technical players. You can see that their standards and their recruitment reflects on, what they want to bring in and the technicality of the football the manager is playing in the direction of the club and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's funny enough because I think of course, people think of teams like Brighton, right? Where it feels like no matter what manager they bring in, what players they're bringing in, they're always playing a very high skill, high technical style of football. So when you have teams like that play against us, where, the club, you actually say the size of the club is not necessarily bigger than Tottenham, how they operate as far as, spending in everything. I think Brighton sells pretty big, don't get me wrong, but as far as like spending, I don't think you see Brighton spending the bank or breaking the bank to you don't see them breaking the bank to get either a top player or to get to buy a Lamine Yamal to have on their squad or something like that. Like they're not buying wonder kids and bringing them into the team, and they're not buying these top players in their prime to bring into the team. It just seems like they're bringing these players, high technical players or players with very high technical ability and great skill. So, that's recruitment and planning, and that just goes to where that, again, it's a reflection of where that club is and their direction, where it's going. It shows just how drastically different it is from Tottenham. So I think to kind of round all that in, I think a lot of people are saying that Conor Gallagher runs into that mold or is a part of that recruitment style, that he's not going to be highly technical. He's not going to be very skillful. He's not what fans are saying, is the term now is the passer, the deep line passer, the deep line playmaker that we need, right? So to me, if you ask me, again, I think he's a good player to have on your squad. I think we still need to do more in this window, right? I don't think we can necessarily close the window and just, say job's finished, right? I think we still need an attacker out there on the left wing. And if we can bring in maybe another, I would hate to say it, to bring in another striker, probably another left winger and another striker, I think that will definitely. I think we could say that Frank was backed, not only with the summer window and getting Xavi, Colomwani, Paulinho, and then you get back like that in the January window. And if the football is still pretty shit, then it can. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be more reason to just go ahead and let him go. So, yeah, I think there's still work to do, right? But I think Conor Gallagher is a solid player. And if we can try to get maybe two more Conor Gallaghers out in the left wing and out in the striker position, right? I think that would be enough for me, to be quite honest. I mean, right now I'm saying we're right now trying to fight to stay within the top 10, right? To try to save face, say that Tottenham's still a top 10 team. So that would definitely help with the push of that. I don't think we can push for Europe at this point. I just don't think that we are good enough to win games consistently, to build points, and to get a lead, right? Because I don't think we have any sort of mentality to fight with the team, going game week after game week, having to win a game. Don't lose this game. Okay, they lost. All right. Just, you don't have to necessarily win. Just don't lose. You can get a draw in this game where this team won. So now we got to win. I don't think we're there yet. So it'd have to be something where we go on some miraculous, unknown 4 or 5 game run where we're just winning games and we get 10, 15. Well, I shouldn't say 10, 15 really, but in a 5 game run with some good play, 5 to 7 game run with some good play, if we can get out of the 21 points, if we can try to get at least, I say we can get like at least 10, 13 points out of that. You know what I'm saying? At least get more than half of the points out of that. That would definitely help. And then as the competition for the other teams, as they start to kind of close in on them, their squad's going to be under pressure. They may get some injuries, overstretching to do this and this competition, and they're trying to win the Champions League and they're trying to win the FA Cup or the Carabao. And luckily, we're going to be we're going to be out of that. We're already out of those, so we're in prime position, baby, to try to lock in on Europe. So, geez. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm going to pull up. We're going to go to the website. We're going to pull up an interview with Conor Gallagher just to kind of see where his head's at and everything. We're going to Wow. Okay. Because I said where his head's at. Where his head's at. Okay. All right. Very mature. Very mature. Jesus. All right. So let's see. They said his shirt number is confirmed, number 22. So he's going to be number 22 running out there on the field. Deuce, deuce. You know what I'm saying? Double O deuce. Double deuce. So this is his first interview as a Spurs player. I don't have. Okay, between you and me, all right. Little transparency moment here. All right, come on. All right, stay with me here. All right, I don't have a cord. I have a monitor, right? I don't have a cord for the monitor to feed into my laptop, so I got the setup to bring the screen in so you can see what I'm looking at. So you just don't have to see my dumb face reading whatever I'm looking at on the screen. But I don't have the cord yet, so we're figuring it out. So just leave me alone, all right? You're going to have to just look at me kind of read through this. So we're going to figure it out. All right. Anyways, so interview with Conor Gallagher. He looks nice in the Spurs shirt. Yeah. Conor, I'm so happy and excited to be here, taking the next step in my career at an amazing club. I wanted to be a Spurs player, and thankfully the club felt the same. It was very easy. It happened very quickly, and I'm ready to get on the pitch. He also mentioned some words he had with Thomas Frank. He said, our coach, Thomas Frank, said Conor is a top midfield player who we have worked tirelessly to add to our squad. He is still young, so he has plenty of room for improvement, but has huge experience across the Premier League, La Liga, and the England national team. Conor has captained teams, so he'll bring his leadership, maturity, character, and personality to our dressing room, while his running power, pressing ability, and eye for goal will strengthen us in a key area of the pitch. So that was Thomas Frank just talking to, I guess, the people at Spurs, not talking to Conor. But so kind of hinting like what I was saying earlier, not really mentioning any of his technical ability, just kind of mentioning running again. We got players that can run. I don't think necessarily running is the hardest thing to do. When you're talking about football, you got to run to cover area, right? Players run. Yes, you can have players that run faster than others. Yes, you can have players that are more balanced when they run. So when people are trying to shove them and whatever, they don't fall over all the time. But that's only so much of what you need in a team. So when you're talking about these players that are good at running, pressing ability, like you can get an 18-year-old kid to do that. You can get an 18-year-old kid. If you're a good manager, right, you can, on the side, right, you don't necessarily have to bring, a bunch of kids from the youth academy team into the first team practice and whatever. But I'm sure if you bring them into a classroom, bring them onto a pitch with like maybe a couple of your coaches for like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks, if you just teach them how to run and press, they're going to go out there and run and press. Like, that's not necessarily a skill you got to spend big loads of money to try to get a player to do, right? That's just easily this. If you motivate a player enough to want to run and press the ball, right? You tell a player, he remembers the patterns, or he remembers the triggers of when to press a player, or when to press the ball, or when to go into this area to start. So like, it's not hard. It's not, or I shouldn't say it's not hard. It's not something that, is like, it's not rocket science to do. We don't need to buy tacticians or specialists in running and pressing. So listen, we got a lot of players that do what Frank is describing that we need Conor Gallagher to do for us. So I think that's why, again, a lot of fans have on the other side of the on the other side of things and maybe looking at this signing as maybe not the best signing, a panic buy, another lapse in our recruitment for what we need in the moment. So there's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but all in all, again, I think that's a player that, like I said, I think any team would want a Conor Gallagher in the squad. He may not necessarily be starting every game. He may not necessarily be your captain, but you want him on the bench. You want him on the field at some point. You need that sort of player to do something, right? You look at similar. I say his game is similar, and this may be a crazy take, right? Because I'm not looking at any of the stats right now. I can't show you the stats because of this dumb fucking monitor. But Scott McTominay for Napoli, right? I see Conor Gallagher filling in that role, right? Because Scott McTominay, I think, and it depends on how much. I haven't watched a lot of Napoli football, so I can't necessarily say how good his skill is game to game, how he's able to bring it. But I think that's something he got from the Premier League, right? Is being ready to run, prepared to do whatever every game, right? I think he does show an eye for a pass or an eye for a shot, getting it to the right areas, right? I do think that as far as his strength is a plus. So when he's out there on the pitch covering the field, he has enough strength to put the tackle in, get the ball, try to do something with it in transition. I don't necessarily think Scott McTominay is the best carrier of the ball or the most skillful dribbler, right? I don't think he can curl it into the upper 90, right? Right into the top corner, right? I don't know if he has that in his. I don't watch him, so I'm not going to say he doesn't have that, but I don't think he does. But you can see just how impactful that type of player is to a squad, right? So I think Conor Gallagher could be that similar role to what Scott McTominay is doing for Napoli. And in a similar case as well, you have a player that's coming from a team where he may not necessarily have been shining, but he didn't necessarily suck. He wasn't stinking it out. It just didn't work out. So you put him in a different situation, a different system that may be a little bit more suited to him, right? He's a little bit more focused on running and doing what he does best and patrolling those areas, going box to box and impacting defensively, midfield, and attack. And I think Conor Gallagher is that player. I think he's that type of player. He's in that vein, right? He's a bit of a, like, this is just kind of a side rant, right? Because, again, I see so many fans online talking about profiles and this player, does he fit in this spot? Oh, he's got to be an 8. He's got to be a 10. He's got to be a 6. He's on the, like when I played football when I was younger or played soccer when I was younger, right? There was no, we never talked about positions and numbers and like that. It'd be, you're in the midfield, right? So you cover the midfield. Make sure you don't go out way wide, but make sure you don't just sit in the middle all day and let teams come through that middle channel, right? Patrol the middle of the field. You're going to have to run up and down, right? So make sure you're in shape. You got to be prepared to run. If you're not prepared to run, don't be in the midfield, right? You have to have some skill on the ball, right? You have to be able to look up. You can't just be a defender where you're just running into players, getting the ball and booting it. And you couldn't just be an attacker where you're just looking to shoot the ball because you're 40, 50 yards away from the goal, right? So you just had to have a bit of everything about you to be in the midfield. And it wasn't hard. It wasn't a hard role to understand. It's just, as a midfielder, you were just kind of the more balanced player on the team, and you just made sure everything transitioned smoothly between the middle of the field, right? So, of course, with a high level of football, there's tactics and all that come into play. So that's where all these roles and things. But as fans, when we watch it, and we want to sit here and try to profile players, oh, he's a this, oh, he's a that. I'm just like, come on, dude, come on. Can you do the basics right? Are you a balanced player? Are you strong enough to put the tackle in, get on the ball? Are you good enough on the ball to actually look up, take a couple of touches, dribble into some certain areas, pass the ball, distribute it? Once the ball is up in the offensive end, are you good enough to want to get into the play, keep possession, look for passes, or even put a shot in? On the opposite end, on the defensive end, are you good enough, again, strong enough to put in the tackle? Are you looking for those areas? Are you looking to run to cover those areas you see the defense isn't covering? Are you looking to run and cover those areas that the offensive players are leaving? Are you looking to cover those areas when you just see a player that's on the ball and you just see that he's in space to do something dangerous? Are you willing to track that player and try to get the it's just balance. It was just a balance. It's just a balanced dude who was willing to do all of it. He was good at all of it, willing to do all of it. It's not hard. So it's not rocket science, right? I think, again, a manager or a coach at any level of soccer or football can instill that into a midfielder, right? You don't need to just, we need someone who's purely good at passing. And we need you to stand in this area so when we get the ball, you can pass it here. Or when we're over here, right, we're going to stage you in this spot right here on the field so you can pass it over. Like, fans think it's just it's almost like it's a board game almost. You need this specific piece, this specific player, this specific thing to do this in a game. Like, no, you just need balance. You just need balance. Conor Gallagher, he's good at finding a pass, right? He's good at passing the ball. From what I've seen, maybe I haven't watched him enough at Atletico Madrid, but from what I saw at Crystal Palace and Chelsea, he was good at passing the ball. He was good at getting in the areas. He was good at putting in a tackle. He was good at being the balance in the midfield and helping that balance in the midfield. So for some fans that are negative about it, I look at it as this. I think he's balanced, something that we need in the club, right? Because I think the players that fans that look to do those sort of roles are 18 years old and 19 years old and really don't know what the fuck they're doing because they're playing for a manager that's probably about to get fired, and they don't they're not necessarily good enough to try to warrant any sort of oh, hold up, I got music going on, sorry. My phone started playing music in my pocket. I don't know what the hell that was. But anyways, yeah. Just to say, Conor Gallagher is going to bring some balance to the midfield, and he's going to bring some experience into the midfield. So I think it's a plus. Again, I think we can do more. So I think fans are gonna put a lot of pressure on him to try to do everything to save the squad. Just like they put a lot of pressure on a manager to I don't know, walk into the boardroom and force the ownership to change their ways and to, you got to sign this player, and walk into the recruitment office and be like, we need this, and this player, and then walk into the youth academy and I want this, and this guy. Like, fans want so much to change, so we put a lot of pressure on one person when they come in to do it. We overhype them, right? Because we have a lot of hope, a lot of emotion, hoping that you can be this is our Prince Charming, right? This is our Prince Charming, Conor Gallagher, Prince Charming. Well, I'm just telling the truth. I'm just saying. A lot of fans want that. So, and I get it, right? It feels like we don't do a lot in the transfer window, right? We don't spend a lot of money, so it feels like we got to make the most of every opportunity we get because we don't know the next time the club is willing to spend, or the next time. I'm sure we're probably going to be looking for an 18-year-old in the next one or two signings again. So I get it. I get both sides, but I think fans may be overreacting a little bit, to Conor Gallagher joining. I think overall it's going to be a plus. Is he going to be a game changer? No, he's no game changer. He's not a game changer. He's not gonna change. He's not gonna change the momentum we have right now here at Tottenham. He's not, but he's gonna add some balance. He's gonna have some solidity. Maybe help find some structure in that midfield because as much as to say, like last season going in, you could say, yes, we're a cup winning team, right? Our defense, Christian Romero, Van de Ven, Porro playing for the Spanish team, Jed Spence, who's getting team time in England now. We got Udogie as well. He's a Italy international, right? We got all these great players, right? Defense solved, right? I don't think that midfield is solved at all, right? And I think, honestly, that's where kind of the spine of this team is lacking. You can maybe say the back line is good, right? Maybe add a couple of more pieces, right? We have Danzo, we have Dragusin, but maybe, exchange one of those center backs, right? Maybe get another left back, something like that, right? But that midfield is the key to what helps structure the team. Again, like I said, balance. You got to have that balance in the midfield, or else the whole team is going to be off. So if you can get a Conor Gallagher, right? You got Paulinho behind him. If you can, right? If we get that quote unquote passer profile player, all the fans keep talking about. If we can get another attacking midfielder, that's James Maddison, Xavi Simons, another attacking midfielder. You have Conor Gallagher, Bentancur is hurt, Kulusevski. You have Sarr that can come back, Archie Gray, Paulinho. It just kind of helps with that balance. And ultimately, I think he's going to be a starter as well. Conor Gallagher is instantly going to be a starter. I think his name's going to be the first on that sheet in the midfield. So, I think it's a solid buy there. I think we took advantage of a good opportunity, right? You could say this is good on the recruitment because we've been following this player for a minute, right? So I think kind of waiting for this moment to buy him. Granted, he went for around the same price he went to Atletico Madrid, so he didn't buy him at a lower cost. But I think bringing him in now can help with a lot of things to get in that midfield. So I think ultimately, it's a positive buy, but we need more, and that's the key. Right, that's the key that I think fans also have to understand when they're freaking out. Oh my God, it's Conor Gallagher. What are we gonna do? Well, we get it, right? He's not the game changer. He's not the key to unlock everything that's wrong with Tottenham. But we need more. But he's good to start off. He's a good solid piece to bring in, right? Good solid piece to. Oh my God, dude. Solid piece. He's a good solid piece. Not he has a good solid piece. That's totally two different. How again if I said that he's a good solid piece? Like it. Oh my God. Whatever. It's crazy. Anyways, welcome, Conor. Next we're going to be getting into Fabio Paratici. He's out. He's out of the club. He's leaving. I got the article pulled up here. So I got one from the club website, also from ESPN. We're going to pull up the club website one first. It says here, officially Wednesday, January 14th, 2026, we can confirm that our sporting director, Fabio Paratici, will be leaving the club in February to join Fiorentina. Fiorentina is in Italy. They are Serie A team. They are like, I don't think they're relegation, but they're like at the almost towards the very bottom right now, if I remember correctly. To continue, Fabio will join the Serie A side following the conclusion of the winter transfer window, bringing to an end 2 spells at Hotspur Way, the first of which began in the summer of 2021. Tottenham Hotspur Chief Executive Officer Vinay Venkateshan said, "We have agreed that Fabio will return to Italy following the conclusion of the January transfer window in line with his wish to move back home. We thank Fabio for his contribution to the club and wish him well for the future. Our management structure is designed to be resilient to personal changes, and it will be business as usual moving forward." Fabio, words from Fabio added, "I want to thank Vinay and the board of Tottenham Hotspur for accommodating my desire to return to Italy and join Fiorentina. I have loved my time at the club. However, this opportunity, together with the need to be based in my homeland, has led me to this decision. Spurs is a club that is very close to my heart. As great people working for it who are as passionate about the project as I am and want to bring sustained success." Oh, well, thank God, right? Thank God there's people there that want to bring sustained success. Good. I have no doubt that they will achieve that and will be watching closely from Italy. Or I'll be watching closely from Italy. Okay, so that's the official club announcement. Paratici leaving Tottenham. I want to know what you guys think about this development. This is interesting, right? Because I think a lot of fans have, from what I've seen just on social media, just to say, I think a lot of people aren't happy with it right now. So, I mean, we're going to have Lange pretty much heading the ship after after the January. We're gonna have Lange leading the ship after the January window and going into next summer. So I think it's a little bit of bittersweetness right now, because I think for Spurs fans, yes, Paratici has brought in some duds. Right, he's brought in some dud players. I think what's his name? Who's the dude we sold today? Valise, right? Valise. He was. I think that was a Paratici buy. I think there are some other duds that were in there, but he brought in Van de Ven. I think brought in Van de Ven, Romero, Udogie, other players like that. So I think all in all, I think a lot of fans will be sad to see him leave, because I think he was bringing in pretty decent players, and maybe of course you're going to hear stories, right? Stories are going to come out. Oh, Paratici recommend some crazy. Oh, Paratici recommend Tottenham get Dybala when he was open, or there was a chance Tottenham could have signed Haaland at one point and Paratici said to do it, but we couldn't do it, right? You're going to hear stories about Paratici recommending good players that we didn't follow through on, right? So I think for a lot of fans, I think they're going to be upset, because the track record for what we have with Paratici, I think it's been fairly positive, more positive than what we've seen with Lange so far. And I'll attest to that as well. I think Lange has not done the best recruiting. I think as of recently, I think ultimately, right, because Lange was, I think Lange was like Archie Gray and Bergvall and Solanke and Brendan Johnson. And I forgot when Paratici was suspended and was not necessarily working for us on the front lines, but maybe in the back lines, right? Or secretly sending us some messages of who to sign. But yeah, I think for Lange, where do we go from here? What's the plan? He doesn't have the best track record, so he's bought some pretty not great players so far. I think in this window, I think ultimately the summer window is going to be the key, right? Because I think you could say this window, or maybe the last summer window as well, Paratici's been there to kind of help assist him and bring in certain players, right? But I mean, yeah, you're talking about Archie Gray, Bergval, Matisse Tell, Wilson Odebear, Dragerson, Danzo. Danzo's solid, right? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, man. It's spooky times. If that's who he's bringing in by himself, and granted, maybe the previous manager at that time, I'm not sure how much input he had or say he had on those signings, right? But hasn't had the best track record, right? Hasn't had the most impactful players, right? I think you can say a lot of Paratici's players have stood the test of getting through the years, right? His signings are getting re-signed, whether that's negligence of the club or not, right? They've been able to get their contracts and continue to be here at the club. They haven't been players like we immediately have to get rid of, immediately put on loan. We haven't immediately have to cut their contracts. We haven't immediately had to sell them. So, um, yeah, I don't, it's it's what I would say is this. What I would say is this. Lange has to what he's gonna have to do this summer is that he's gonna have to bring in the Xavi Simons and he's gonna have to bring in like I said, some more Conor Gallagher's in these other positions, right? And he's going to have to understand that as well there's going to have to be some sales. Now, I think we have been selling players, or maybe we've been covering the sales of more players more recently, but um, I think the players he gets rid of and the players that he brings in this summer, ultimately, I think will kind of solidify if he should keep his job or not. Because right now he's on iffy water. I don't think he's done well. I don't think he's done a lot. There's been times in certain windows where it feels like we haven't really done anything. We were kind of stagnant, just sitting in the water, and it's like, okay, well, what are we doing? Are we going to buy a player? We should be buying more players. Why aren't we in for this player? And all this. So it will be interesting times without Paratici for sure, for sure. But the plan moving forward, I think, again. I think for at least this January window, Paratici's still going to be here. So we need to go ahead. I say go ahead, use his ties to Italy, get a Lookman in, wrap up a Lookman. Maybe if he doesn't come in this January window, sign him for the summer or something like that. Sign him as soon as this season ends, he's coming in or something like that. If we can't do this January window, right? Use the last of Paratici's good graces and good wishes and good ties with teams in Italy. Was for some star power that they have, some stardust that they have sprinkled around those squads, right? You can get a Lookman. You can I'm trying to think of a striker. You can get a Jamie Vardy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's a joke. We're not gonna get Jamie Vardy, but no, what I'm saying, yeah, just use the last bit of star power. I should say good graces he get to find some bits of stardust in Italy, because there are some players, right, that are in Italy that I think are good. So but yeah, man, I think a left winger and a striker is the key moving forward. And if we can get that for Frank, I think we can say that he's backed, man, and that the football is still crap. He's still not doing well. Then it will be bye-bye. You know what I'm saying? Bye-bye for the man. Okay. So that's just kind of hitting on Paratici leaving the club and everything. Real quick, we are on the last 10 minutes. We're going to wrap up with the ENIC out protest, right? In case you don't know, this is a pro ENIC out channel, right? I think ENIC do need to sell their ownership, their stakes in the club, give it to somebody else to operate. this football club. I think as far as I've made it clear as far as my opinion of what they've done, right? They're yeah, and let me so again. I have to pull it up again. I know you can't see it, so it's not even. It really doesn't even matter. But ENIC is a British investment company owned by the family trust of Joe Lewis, right? Tie that into what Levy was with real estate and things of that nature, right? There's only 2 to 3 things they can do to make money, or the reason why they even exist, right? And it's to make money. That's ultimately why they exist. But there's only 3 ways they make money, right? It's not from sporting ventures, right? It's not from investing in football teams and helping them win trophies. They do 3 things, right? They buy land or sell it. They'll buy land with a building on it to lease it or sell it. Or they'll buy land, build a building on it to either lease it or sell it. Those are the 3 things that they can do. So when people want to argue or people want to say we should be thanking this ownership, we should be thanking that they have revolutionized Tottenham. Look at the platform they put us on. The 3 things that they have done here at Tottenham is bought land, put a bigger building on it, and leased it. They haven't even sold it. They're leasing it right now, essentially. They're leasing it to, well, I don't even know what you would say that contract is with F1 and when the concerts and everything with like Live Nation and stuff. I don't know what you would necessarily call that. But for lack of a better term, layman's terms for business right now, we're going to say they're leasing it, right? These places are sending their artists, sending events and whatever to come in. People are spending money there at the building, and then they're leaving, right? So they're leasing it for events, right? They bought land for the new stadium, for the hotel, to build a bigger stadium, to build a hotel, right? We already had a stadium, so it's not like we needed it. They tore down a smaller building and built a bigger building to make more money in, right? When you talk about the actual structure and how we operate as a club, right? When you want to talk about recruitment, youth academy, right? Stuff like that. The players we're bringing in, the actual success and progression of this club, what we're actually achieving, where we're going, we are in serious decline. Serious decline. And maybe you could say there was a rise. There was a rise, right? With Harry right now. Now I'm not going to claim to be some I watched from the very beginning Spurs fan, right? I'm 27, so I'm not very old. I've been watching Spurs since 2000. I want to say 2012, 2013, right? Right around that era, right? I live in America, right? So we got I think we started getting the Premier League stuff then, or at least what I could watch, what I had access to. I started having access to the Premier League around those years. So that's when I started watching it. And even then, it took time for Tottenham to grow on me. So it wasn't like I was instantly a fan of Tottenham, right? I was just watching all the teams play. I was a soccer player, right? Told to watch, watch the professionals. You'll learn stuff on how to play, whatever. So I'm not going to sit here and claim and protest, but in the 80s and the 90s, I was watching this team win trophies, or in the 60s, I was alive to watch this team win trophies, or I was there watching this. I remember when before ENIC was here and after. Like, I can't talk about any of that. I pretty much was a fan ever since ENIC's been here, but I watched the small rise, I watched the Pochettino years. I was there on the ground crying when we made it to the Champions League final. Thought it was the greatest day in my life as a Spurs fan, right? I was there for those moments, right? Whoop-de-doo. I was there for the trophy. I was recently here for the trophy, right? But when you actually want to talk about, when people want to use words like revolutionize, they've changed the way Tottenham operate, right? If we were, let's just take the Pochettino area for example. Once he left, what happened? We didn't continue on that trajectory. It wasn't like there was a change from that moment that we kept going. It immediately fell apart. So there was actually no change. There was no revolutionizing anything. And if you ask me, to be quite honest, I don't think the ownership or anybody Levy was heading that project like Pochettino and Mark Edwards were at the time. I don't think they were even that involved or that invested, right? Because you look at the money we spent at the time, we weren't spending a lot on players, but the recruitment was done so well, we didn't need to spend a lot of money, I guess. But you could make that argument on their side for Pochettino. Okay, we've done so much. We went so deep on the recruitment to get these players, and I've done all this coaching to get them this good. So now we can spend the 30, the 40, the 50 million on players and bring them in. We got human son and all, like we got it. So let's go and push, right? And even if we may not have enough money for an 80, 90 million pound player at that time, like I don't even remember players being, let me not say, it's not that players weren't being sold for that much. It's just that I don't remember it being as regular as it is now, right? It definitely wasn't regular as it was now. So if you're talking about a player being sold for that level, again, you're probably still talking about an upper echelon of player that probably wasn't necessarily going to be considering Spurs unless they see that project that Pochettino had going on, right? So that'd be the moment you push. And they did it. Okay, so they didn't push because they didn't want to buy the players. Maybe the money was fucked up, whatever. They had to buy the stadium, fine. Okay, what about the recruitment? Because the recruitment is really great. Did we keep up the recruitment? The recruitment fell to shit. It stopped, right? We started buying young kids. The players we were buying were less and less skillful. We were bringing them in. They're not bringing the impact. They're not being coached. They're not matching what we're doing like it was with Pochettino. So that started going down, right? We had the youth academy. We had youth academy players. We brought Harry Kane in, right? When's the last youth academy player that we brought in that's been a genuine part of the team? When's the last, like, what? When have we done that? What's the last player that we've done that with? So the youth academy has not been changed. It hasn't been revolutionized. It's been operating the same way. So when people want to argue, oh, we wouldn't have been here without them. We wouldn't have been here without this. We wouldn't have been here without that. Yes, we wouldn't have the bigger building. We wouldn't have as much land under the name of Tottenham Hotspur that we would have. We wouldn't have the hotel building sitting behind it. We wouldn't have the tower behind the toilet bowl, right? When you look at a toilet and you see the tower behind the toilet bowl, that's exactly what the hotel is. It's the tower behind the toilet bowl. We had a toilet bowl, and they wanted to make sure they put a big old fat tower behind the toilet to make sure we could suck up all the bullshit that's in the toilet bowl, right? So we can make sure we can suck in all that bullshit, right? That's why we got the big-ass tower. Big, nice toilet bowl seat right there. So this argument of them revolutionizing Tottenham and changing Tottenham, we should be happy that they did what they did. I don't hear it. I don't buy it. Yes, if another ownership group was here, maybe Pochettino and Mark Edwards and Human Son and Vertonghen and all the world and and all this wouldn't have happened, right? Maybe it wouldn't have happened, but you cannot tell me that this ownership has revolutionized or changed or uplift Tottenham, right? It has been, in spite of the ownership group, it has been a select few that have drugged this club through the years. Select few. And the reason why every time whenever you hear a fan talk about it, they only talk about that select few. They don't talk about the ownership. They don't say, oh man, well, the good moves that we were making then. Oh man, we were spending money. We were buying this player and this player. We got this guy and this guy, and we were just running the league. We were running it up on everybody, walking into the Champions League. We were the dogs. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. It's always been this manager and the 11 players he had was they drug us through, right? This one guy working with whoever staff he had at the time at the club with his recruitment drug us through the years. Conte drug us through the years, right? Mourinho drug us through the years, right? Ange drug us through the years. Christian Romero has been dragging us through the human son. Harry Kane have been dragging us through the year. That's why when they're gone, the momentum stops. Because nothing's been changing to help keep that going. It just stops, right? We haven't even bought a traditional star left winger to replace Human Son. We bought prospects to come in. And we've been just and I think one of the prospects is not even good enough to even get on the team. And then the other two prospects are teenagers. So so it's the third prospect too that's not good enough to get on the team. He's also a teenager. We brought in 3 prospects to maybe try out on the wing after having a dude that was part of the deadliest, most lethal, most goal-scoring combo in the Premier League that you've ever seen. Look it up on the paper. You're going to see their names, Harry Kane and Son. We had that, and we haven't even replaced those players. We haven't replaced those players. We haven't done anything to recruitment to find another Harry Kane, to find another Human Son, right? We haven't brought anybody through the academy like Harry Kane, right? We haven't brought in a manager that was good enough to work with Harry Kane and Son and develop them like we did at that time. We didn't bring in the managers at the time to win with them when we needed it. We didn't bring enough players that were good enough to work with them to do anything. So they're not changing anything. And you want to get to this year when you have Levy out, right? Fans protest. We win the trophy, but fans are protesting. You see, fans weren't showing up for trophy or for the league campaign. See, that was the wake-up call, right? Because even during that Europa League campaign, you had fans that were not turning up. You had fans that were still wanting to protest. You had still scenes of empty stands and empty rows, right? So that was a wake-up call for the ownership because they said, oh, man, even at this time where we're on a run, we're about to win a trophy, there's still fans that are upset. Okay, what do they want? What do they want? What do we need to do? They want to get rid of Levy? We'll get rid of Levy. You know what? Levy's been the issue the whole time. You're right, guys. You're right. Let's get rid of Levy. Okay, he got rid of Levy. We're going to bring somebody else. Who can we bring? Do you know anybody? Do we know any directors of football? What is even a director of football? Who do we? Oh, we need a CEO. I don't know. Okay. Shit. Let's see. Who's this Vinay guy? Vinay? He was that guy. He was a CEO, director. Okay. We got another. Hey, look. Listen. That Levy guy been holding us back the whole time. He's been having the keys in his hands the whole time. So, listen, don't worry. We're gonna bring this guy from Arsenal. He knows what he's doing, right? Arsenal, they're a big club, right? Pretty good. He's going to come in. He's going to help lead the ship. He's going to guide us. He's going to help do everything. Oh, and by the way, we're going to bring in this guy. His name is Johan Lange. He's from Aston Villa. He's going to come in. He's going to work with Paratici. Yes, we're hiring him. At the same time, they're just going to do both things 50-50. They're going to split the roles, right? They just have to make sure they work it out with each other. Really don't care what they do. They can have fun with that. Vinay, he's the new Levy now. He'll talk to you guys, and we're out. We're done. Job's done. Fans happy. Here's the and at the end of all that, they're sliding you the little receipt for the season ticket. You see on the bottom right, you just see the little season ticket thing sliding down. It said, so fans happy. Levy's out. We got a new guy, right? 2 directors of football, better than 1. Feel like paying the $1,500. Feel like paying the $1,700, $1,850. Here you go. I'm just gonna slide that over there. Slide that right there for. Oh yeah. By the way, the Champions League games. We're in the Champions League this year. That's great. That's awesome. Just going to slide you this thing here for the Champions League tickets. I know it's a lot this year, right? Yeah, crazy times, isn't it? Turns out when you have 2 directors of football, you got to pay twice the money, right? So we're just going to slide this ticket for the Champions League. We're just going to slide that there for you. Yeah. Here's the season ticket, Champions League ticket. Yeah, you want to go to away games too? Okay, sign away games in there too as well. Oh, you want to watch the team during preseason? Oh, the new signings, right? I'm just gonna slide this Spurs play tickets here. You're gonna have to pay. Yeah. You see, so it turns out you gotta pay a camera guy to show, to follow the team. So you have to pay for that too. Keep racking it up. Keep bringing in the money. Keep racking it up on us. And nothing's changed. Nothing's revolutionized. More panic buys. More or less structure, right? We're getting worse. I know that's hard to hear. We're getting worse, right? Fans said it was an anomaly. We finished so low last season. Well, newsflash, buddy. We're finishing this around the same place this season. And if you poll a lot of fans, they don't have a lot of faith in this ownership and doing a whole lot to make an impact next season. So what do you think is going to be the trend? What do you think this trend is heading? Because it's not upwards. It's not going up. So listen, I am Enoch out, right? I'll say that again. I implore all fans in England, if you go to the games, if you live in the London area, if you're close to the London area, I implore you to go ahead and protest as well. All right? If you know any ways that I can support the protest, I would definitely ask you to put them in the comments. Maybe send a message to me. You can go on my X, DM me on X. I would love to support the protest, right? I'll be trying to connect with some platforms, maybe. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm a nobody YouTuber, so I'm sure they're probably going to ignore any message that I send to them. But I will ask if there's any way I can support, right? Because I want Enoch out. They deserve to leave. And Spurs fans deserve better, right? We deserve an ownership that's willing to run the football club how it should be run. We deserve an ownership that wants to be actually competitive in all 4 competitions. And yes, the Premier League. And yes, that means Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool in the Premier League. That doesn't just mean making sure that we can beat Brighton every season, making sure that we beat Bournemouth every season, making sure that we can beat West Ham, making sure that we give it a good go for Chelsea, right? Not that competitive. I'm talking about competitive where we're we're in a position to win every game. The Premier League, we're in a position to win every game. Fans can say, well, why not? Why can't we win this game? We have this guy, this guy, this guy. We're doing this, this, and this. Why can't we win this game? We have this manager in the helm leading the fellas. Why can't we win this game? Why can't we win the Champions League? Why can't we win the Carabao Cup? Why can't we win the FA Cup? True competition, true competitiveness, right? And that only comes from a mentality of wanting A, to win, and B, wanting to compete not only with others but yourself. Be better than try to do better, like progression. Try to move forward and advance. Set goals and actually hit them. Not just plug and play. Not just panic and retaliate and respond to things happening. It always feels like the ownership is, Paratici's leaving. Jesus. Oh, God. Harry Kane wants to go? Oh, man. Okay. All right. We can, yeah, no. We got this. Human son's getting older. Well, okay. No. We got this. I'm tired of this ownership reacting to stuff as if they didn't see it coming, like they're not paying attention, like they don't know what's going on. And if they are watching it, hold on. I don't think they're paying attention, to be quite honest. I don't think their eyes are at the helm, because you can't tell me with all the things that have happened recently, and this is the response to them, that this is a calculated response to the recent events. You can't tell me this is a calculated response to winning the Europa League. You can't tell me this is a calculated response to selling Heung-min Son. There's a calculated response to selling Harry Kane. There's a calculated response after Pochettino making it to the Champions League. There's a calculated response after losing Conte. You can't tell me these were calculated responses that they saw coming, and this is their reaction, and they thought, good, perfect, awesome, move on to the next. You can't tell me that. So they're asleep at the wheel, right? They're not paying attention. And if they are paying attention, and if they are saying this is their genuine efforts, it's shit. It's horrible. It sucks. And I would say you're void of ideas, or these ideas that you have are terrible. Terrible. Not the standards for a Big Six team in the Premier League. Yes, you're making the money that a Big Six team in the Premier League would make. But you know why teams like that make that money? They do the concerts. They do this. They sell the shirts. They got the merch. They do all that. But they also win. Their names are in competitions. They're making it to these higher level competitions. The reason why we keep saying, how do these teams are able to spend all this money all the time? It's because they're always earning money from being good. You can earn money from being good and winning trophies. Newsflash. It pays to win. You got to pay to win, but it pays to win. So you would think how much money you'd be making. Just think of how much money Tottenham would be making if we were actually competing and winning trophies and going on these platforms and actually bringing in fans, enthralling people with good football and success. You'll bring in people that will want to spend money, right? You don't have to have the concerts and then flash the Spurs badges wherever you can during a concert to get people to care about Tottenham. You don't have to get F1 fans to go to a go-karting track and then have flash the Spurs badge so they know about Tottenham. You don't have to have some fancy hotel with international fans coming to watch the Euros, and then you say, reminder, you're staying at the Tottenham Hotel, the Tottenham Hotspur Hotel. Oh yeah, that's the team. Okay, yeah. You don't have to bring in fans that way. You don't have to spend money that way. You don't have to bring in and spend money that way. You don't have to have beer that fills up from the bottom of the cup. You don't have to have caviar, Canisius and fish escovitch that you're feeding fans in the stadium to make money. If you try to win, you make money. If you just take half of that money you spent on fucking whatever that bullshit is in the stadium, put that in this. Oh man, I could go on. I could go on. Listen, it's Enoch out. Don't stop until it happens, right? I don't accept anything but this ownership selling up and giving the rights, the keys, the decision-making power to somebody else. And make sure that it's a sporting mind. Hopefully it's a sporting mind, right? So that's what I'll say. Let me just say this. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up now. I only wanted to be here for an hour, right? Didn't want to take too much of your time tonight, right? Just want to do an hour live stream. So let me go ahead. You know what I'm doing, the last minute logistics here. Like this live stream, subscribe to the channel, see where I'm going live next. I'm going to be going live on Friday, same time, 6:30. Follow me on X for the post. Subscribe to my YouTube, hit the notification bell so you can see when I post. Go ahead, like this live stream, share this with your friends, share this with your family members. Let them know about De La Spurs. If you're a Spurs fan like me and you're loud and you're proud, you got family members, you got friends that know already that you like Spurs, you like Tottenham Hotspurs. So let them know you're watching this dude who's making great Tottenham content, right? Stepping the game up. Like I said, we got this boo-boo ass cord that I'm going to fix for this. I'm going to figure something out for this monitor so that way you don't see my dumb face and I'm just like when I'm reading stuff, right? We're gonna be stepping it up. So don't worry, man. Come be a part of this now. Join on the train now for greatness. You don't want to be late, right? You don't want to be hopping on this train late. So go ahead, join this now. Get your friends and family members in on it as well, right? Drop a comment. Let me know what you think of Conor Gallagher. Let me know what you think of Thomas Frank, Enoch, Tottenham Hotspur. Hell, it doesn't even have to be about that. You can let me know about what you did today. You can let me know how many tacos you've eaten in one sitting. I don't care. You can let me know about your niece. I don't care. Talk to me about whatever. Just whatever. Put a comment in. But that's it for tonight, folks. Again, just wanted to be here for an hour. I want to thank you all for being with me, right? Thank you all for being here. You could have been anywhere this last hour, but you were here with me watching De La Spurs live, so I appreciate your time and effort. Even if you're not watching this live, you're watching the playback of this, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Every view counts. Every opinion counts. So I want to thank you for watching this as well. We're out of here for tonight. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you live Friday, 6:30. Until then, peace.